everybody. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Talk About You platform. I am your host tonight, and I am still getting ready for the Talk About You platform. Y'all, talk about that. I'm still getting ready for Talk About You, and I am so glad that you're here with me. I am one of the brand ambassadors for the USA Fibroid Centers, and I'm also a Fibroid Fighter, and so happy to be here tonight to be able to share some really exciting news and to do a recap of our full night in bloom. And I have such an amazing guest, y'all. I got my glasses on my forehead. I'm fluffing my tough child. I'm trying to pull it together, but I had to put on a little makeup. I want to welcome you all to our platform tonight. Hello. How is everybody doing? How was your day? I hope your day was amazing. Proper introduction now that you are here with us. For those that are jumping on, welcome to our platform. Welcome to the USA Fibroid Centers Talk About You platform with my sister, none other than Miss Eugenia Buie, who I met several years ago. I was actually at a church event, and I was talking about USA Fibroid Centers and all of the options the option that we offer here at the USA Fibroid Centers to rid women of fibroids. I was talking about statistics. I was talking about symptoms and solutions and all the things. And I was asking one of the members of the church where she was attending if she knew anybody in the ministry who had fibroids. And you were the first person that she suggested that I meet. We met. You came to our event in New York. You're from New York. You're a New Yorker. And you have been stuck with us ever since.
Ever since, right?
And you have been fighting the good fight for us for every moment since we met you. I mean, literally, you have been paving the way and just really spearheading, opportunities for women to be able to understand more about this this epidemic that has plagued our community. And I want to thank you personally for all that you're doing. You joined us organically. You came to our dinner and you told your story, and it blew us away about your suffering in silence and all that you had to endure. But as of late, I'm just going to fast forward for those who are quick to kind of jump from page to page. I want them to know that you are this year's winner and recipient of the Flora Katsnelson Award of Excellence. And I am so honored when they shared with me that you were going to be presented with that award. I said, I don't know anyone else that is more deserving in our crew than you, because you have done multiple lives on your page. You have brought so many different friends to our events. You have been really just letting people know about their options and educating women. You have shown up, on our outside events when it was hot. You have been out there with us giving away pamphlets and flyers. I mean, so many things. Yeah. And so who would be a better recipient than you? Thank you so much. And formally, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I'm still so honored. That night really took my breath away because I was so lost. I was like, wait a minute, am I going to say anything? What time do I go on? I was so completely confused about everything. I had no idea. And so that moment when that award was presented to me, I tell you, I was completely choked up for so many reasons. The first reason being just listening to all of the accolades and all of the amazing things about our Dr. Flora was just, it just took my breath away, because in the moments that I've known her, she was a light. And she was always encouraging and always saying, Eugenia, you did an amazing job. She didn't have to do that. So to hear her come to me and say, you did really well, I'm proud of you, that meant so much to me. And so I always look forward to seeing her light, when I come. And so to experience that loss, it was a great hit for all of us, I think, because we knew how important she was and still is to this powerful movement that we have. It stands on the shoulders of this amazing woman. And although we are extremely grateful for Dr. Yan and all of the work that he has done, we know the work that she has put in and being a pillar for him, but also for us. And so that was my initial response. I was just extremely emotional and overwhelmed, as so many others were in that room, as Cheryl started to talk about Dr. Flora, and then to hear my name, I was like, wait a minute, what? I was clapping, not even realizing that they said it was me. I'm like, okay, who was it? And it was like, it's you, girl, get up. And so my friends had to tell me and shake me out of it and say, no, they gave it to you. And so above anything, I'm grateful for, you know, the opportunity to share my story, but to be acknowledged for that is something that I'm not used to be honest with you. This is just who I am. It's what I do. So to be honored for the advancement that I make in any category is an honor to me. And so I'm grateful. I'm still grateful. And I'm just like, I look at this. Look at this amazing.
It's breathtaking. I mean, that purple gem on top is so indicative of how beautiful she was. And for those that don't know, Dr. Flora Katsnelson is our founder's wife who passed away suddenly back in October. And we were just blown away because, as Eugenia just shared, she was such a huge part of the fiber of our company. And this award is so prestigious because it is the first of its kind. We named this whole event, you know, being in full bloom after her because she wore this beautiful flower dress at her last event that she attended. And she really talked about really just kind of being in the fullness of who you are. I mean, she was always a phone call away, but I do want to read for those who are watching what the Flora Katsnelson Award, what it entails and why it's so important to us. And this prestigious award, it recognizes individuals or organizations that demonstrate exceptional leadership. And when I think about leadership, I immediately think about you, Eugenia, because the way you champion all that you do, right? And how you're leading people to any cause, or just even you as a minister, you know, you're leading people to Christ. As an advocate for fibroids, you're leading people to answers. You're a leader. Again, to have your sister talks on the Fibroid Fighters page, you know, you're doing so many things in that way and in that space, but it improves access to care and inspiring individuals to take charge of their well-being. The recipients exemplified Dr. Katsnelson's passion for creating a healthier, transformative future for all. What better person, as I said in my introduction, to be honored with such a great esteem than you. I mean, it is just literally, when I saw that award earlier in the day, it brought tears to my eyes because it is so radiant, just like she was. And so I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. Not only did you win the award, but also we must congratulate Dr. Jacob White.
Yes.
Our IR doctor, who is the medical director at the USA Fibroid Centers. Congratulations to Dr. White. If you actually come back and watch this, we salute you. That was a really special night for me. Just watching, you know, people be so passionate. I always tell people, Eugenia, and you probably can attest to this because we're women of purpose. I always wanted to be attached to an organization that was close and near to me. I always do society women's makeup, right? I do a lot of high-end women, professional women, and they're always attached to a cause, right? They do all these fundraisers and they're doing all of these events and they're championing these events. And I'm like, I don't have anybody that I dealt with these particular ailments. So those events that they do aren't close to me. But when I found out about the USA Fibroid Centers, it resonated with me as it has with you, because we both are former
Glory.
So, man, not to cut you off, but I want to just talk a little bit about your goals as it relates to raising awareness. I know that Cynthia's goal in doing that show was to raise awareness for those that follow her and watch her, and she's made such a huge impact in doing so. But I want you to tell us a little bit about those goals that you have with us here at the USA Fibroid Center so that women can know what to look forward to with you.
Well, my goal is, for one, to let every woman know you're not alone, right? That's my main goal. We are sisters, right? Every woman is my sister. And because every woman is my sister, I have an obligation to make sure that whatever I know, whatever wealth of information I have, whatever experience I can share, I give that to you freely, because freely it was given to me, right? And so my goal is to educate, right? And to hear you share your pain, because you need to know you have an outlet, right? You may never choose what I chose, but at least you know you have a sister you can talk to. So my inbox is always being ringed because people are sharing their stories with me, and I'm open to that because I want you to know you're not alone in this journey. And I don't have an attitude with you if you don't choose my journey. If you don't choose what I chose, I want you to know you have choices, that you have options. And because I'm your sister, whatever you choose, I'm a rock with you. I just want you to do well.
Yeah, I love that for the way I suffered, right? I don't want anybody to be unaware of their options. And so I'm a numbers girl, you know, being an entrepreneur, you know, I deal with numbers all day. You know, I'm trying to make goals, you know, I'm trying to, you know, make sure that my bottom line is making sense. And for me, I was just like, if 90% of African American women are suffering with fibroids or will suffer with a fibroid, whether it's to the point where they need a surgery or not, then I have a lot of work to do. And I was literally at clinics. I was, you know, doing lives all the time. You know, I was, you know, going to events where I could share awareness, where there were lots of women. I was targeting events where I knew lots of women would be, from my sorority to, you know, any kind of women's event. You know, I spoke at all kinds of women's events, and I always, some kind of way, whether I was preaching or teaching or encouraging, I always try to incorporate fibroids in that in some kind of way. So my goal was numbers. I was like, I mean, at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. You know, and I was like, if I can get 5 women in here this month, 10 women in here this month, 15 women in here this month. And so I was able to meet a lot of my goals. Tell us what, I know you said that your goal is to raise awareness, but how can we impact our community? How can we help them understand about this disease? Give us something that you could share with those that are watching, how they can make a difference.
Well, we can simply make a difference by recognizing that fibroids, although 90% of women suffer, 100% of the world is involved in the suffering, right? So when we acknowledge that we are all affected, whether it is directly or indirectly, then we can all be a part of what we're going through. This is an epidemic, and we say it often, right? Because it affects everyone. Everybody didn't get COVID during COVID, but everybody was affected by it. Everybody was affected by it. Yeah,
Such
so
a great point.
we are all being affected somehow. Now, men don't get fibroids, right? But you got a sister, you got a mother, you got an auntie, you have someone in your close proximity that is suffering, and because of their suffering, they're not able to bring you 100% of themselves. That affects everyone around them, right? So my
job performance. I mean, think about that. Let's talk about job performance. Let's talk about personalities being affected. You know, let's talk about you not showing up at events. You're absolutely right. The whole world is affected by this. 90% of Black women, because we, you know, we're and it's not just Black women, guys. Let's just make that clear. We have Latinos that are suffering. We have Africans that are suffering. We have women that are, you know, from the Middle East. We have women from all over the world that have been noted to suffer with fibroids. This is not a Black thing. And I think that we need to just be clear of that. And I hope that they screenshot this and post it. This is not a Black thing. This is a woman thing. This is something that is happening in our community, specifically because we're Black women. We have these stats that we can take back to, you know, our loved ones. But I think anybody that's watching this, I need you to know that this is not just a Black thing, but this is a woman thing. And as women, we definitely need to stand and stand in proxy of those who have, if they don't know and they want to know, or if they want to know and they need some information, we need to stand in proxy of that information and get that information out on the streets. Let's talk a little bit about some of the misconceptions. I think that, but what are some other misconceptions that you know just off the top of your head that people assume about people who have fibroids?
I mean, the first misconception is that it is going to be something that is going to be cancerous, right? Fibroids has nothing to do with cancer, right? Fibroids is not endometriosis. Fibroids is not, you know, all of the things that we try to put together because the symptoms are relative, right?
I love that passion that you have. I want to know, since we're talking about from a passion point, what are your hopes as it relates to research and the further research that we need to have in our fibroid community?
My hope is that every woman who has experienced fibroids will have an opportunity to learn this wealth of knowledge, right? I believe that we have different women on different plateaus of followers. Social media is a high point, right? And so we have certain women on our team that have more followers than others. And I believe that's important. I believe that the balance is very important, whereas your views may be different than mine, but I believe that at the same time, we all can reach someone. So my hope is that we will all use our platform to share this awareness and hope that other people will share what you share, right? We were top tier that night. Everyone looked amazing. The entertainment was amazing. Our guests were amazing. So to have people like Angela Yee and to have people like the women in the caliber that we have talking about this issue in such a great space, it helped those who would not listen normally to listen to this conversation, because we knew the importance of the voices that were having this conversation. And so to have her on this platform and the multitude of women that we had to have this conversation, it also helped people to just relax for a moment and to just listen to the information. It was a fun night. It was a game experience. We gave out prizes, and so that also built up a level of community that we had amongst our sisterhood. Right, we became sisters that night. So
we're here where all the laws and decisions are made, and we're here where the Congresswomen and men are. We're here where they're making decisions about our lives. You know, this is an election year, you know, so it's important that we are sharing this message with those lawmakers and policymakers so that they understand that this is important. This is an epidemic that is plaguing our community. And like you said, I can't talk about, you know, heart disease. I can't talk about cancer, praise God, you know, because I've not been affected by those things. But what I can talk about definitively, and what I do know with beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that we have a large part of our community that is suffering with these non-cancerous tumors, and we want to know why.
Right.
So we need the research to be down in the books so that we can help women to avoid this, right? And so that's my goal. And I know that.
I wanted to add to that because I don't think a lot of people know. I did an interview with CBS about a year or so ago. And at the end of that interview, Kamala Harris was a part of that conversation. And a lot of people don't know, but she was fighting for fibroid awareness and for a bill to be passed to bring, some information to women's health and to get that bill was passed in May. And no one's talking about that. Why? Because they don't know, right? You can't hold the people accountable for what they don't know, but I can hold you accountable for the information that you hear and that you know about. So when I think about all of the things that you just mentioned, Congress and getting to think, I'm focused on who is being represented out there that affects me, right? That is there for me, that is speaking to what I'm dealing with, my struggles. And we have so many diverse struggles. So I'm not here to suggest any government or any president or the candidate or whatever, but I am focused on who's focused on my journey. I am looking at those people who are talking about my experience. And so when I heard her, and her, first of all, her being a part of a clip that I was in, that was already like, oh shoot, I made it, right? Because that's amazing. But to know that she stuck with it when the news cameras wasn't talking about it anymore and that the bill was passed, that means something to me. And so it is even in this space. All of us experience. So my hope is that we'll use our voices, we'll use our platforms to share this information in all spaces. That's why I make it my goal to do so.
You know, I'm getting honored next week at the Congressional Black Caucus for my work with fibroids, and my goal is not just to pick up that award, but my goal is to have a conversation with every law and decision maker who is in attendance of this event and let them know that women's health and reproductive health should be at the forefront of their agendas and their platforms, that we have options and they need to know what they are. They need to understand that we're being affected by this, that this is plaguing our community. And I want them to understand that we have a voice and we need to get some resolve to this, right?
It helps us to really say, okay, these people really do care about me, because we have organizations going across the world and they're talking and they're trying to get you to sign up and trying to get you to whatever. But this was more than that. this was an experience. And so you were in that room, you felt the love, you felt the need and the desire to get you educated on this experience and on this opportunity. And you wanted to be in that room. Why? Because these people really actually care about
Yeah.
me. I
Yeah.
felt that, and I'm a part of it. I said,
Yeah,
okay, I
I felt that way
appreciate it.
too. I
You
have to
know?
agree with you on
Yeah,
that. Like, it was a different vibe because I
yeah,
felt
for
like the
sure.
awareness was
Yeah.
there. When I saw those women lined up
Mm-hmm.
outside of that room to be let in for the awareness part, not the food part, not the dinner,
Mm-hmm.
but the awareness part, it brought tears to my eyes because I was coming down from our room and we were headed to the red carpet and we were doing interviews, and I watched all those women just waiting in anticipation to
Yeah.
get this information. We had people to drive all the way from DC and from
Mm-hmm.
other parts of the country up to New York just to be with us in Times Square. You know, policymakers who were there. We had press there. You know,
Yeah.
we had celebrities
Yeah.
there. And so it let me know that although we are all in different spaces,
Mm-hmm.
right, and have different situations going on, but we all had one goal, and that was to become
Yeah.
aware
Yeah.
of what this epidemic, what it represented, and we wanted to hear people's stories. I mean,
Yeah.
I looked around the room, you know, even hosting it, and I saw so many women very intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
I saw women ears perk open when they heard different stories,
Mm-hmm.
and so I love, and I want to congratulate, you know, our Fibroid Center team, marketing team, for just the way they did it, because we were able to really see what the interest was of these people that were in attendance and why they came, and they were so passionate about it, you know. And so that's one of my greatest takeaways from that event. Tell me what your greatest takeaway was from our full night in Bloom.
My greatest takeaway outside of being acknowledged for the work that I do, because that really touched my soul. You have no idea how touching that was for me, because when you're a giver, you don't really anticipate receiving anything back in return. So to be acknowledged, that was amazing for me. Our better lives is amazing to me. And I took that all in to know that we don't have to do what we're doing. Even Dr. Yan, this level of work that he does, he could be doing the brain surgery and the heart surgery and all of the things that we talked about. But for him to even care about the forward advancement of women, for him to even care about the wellness of women, for him to continue to strive in this area, even with what he is actually dealing with himself. And I know that that's not my, but to just know that everyone that's here is doing it because they have a love and a passion.
Yes, we found our purpose in this, and it feels good, you know.
Yeah.
And I encourage anybody that's watching now, if you're not currently a part of the USA Fibroid Centers, or if you're not a fibroid fighter and you've experienced fibroids in some way, whether it's by, you know, yourself personally or maybe a family member, to find that passion to help. I think that it is so fulfilling. You know, one of the things that helps me to get through the pain of losing Dr. Flora, who was so dear to me, is to feel that hole in my heart, which I know will never go away. That pain will never go away. But what we do is we fill that hole in our hearts with purpose, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is, you know, what I tell anyone who is ailing with bereavement, is to fill the hole with purpose.
Yeah.
Because as often as you do that, you know, you will find that it is reciprocal. It gives you a purpose and a dream fulfilled. It's like, I got to carry on this for her,
Yeah.
you know. And that's why I'm thinking of things, and I call the marketing team, you know, at least 3 times a week with ideas, because I'm like, we can do this and we can do that, and let's do this, let's try that.
Yeah.
You know, some things stick. You know, I think that collectively, when we do that, we make a difference. And maybe it's a small difference, maybe it's a few people, maybe it's a lot of people, but either way, I want, when I leave this earth, that my legacy continues like we are doing with Dr. Flora, you know. And I know that she was a woman of purpose and a woman of gratitude, and she was a woman who was very classy, and she was just the essence of a flower in full bloom.
Yeah.
And so that night is very special to me, and I'm trying not to cry. But it was just one of those moments. And as we close, because you have told us your journey, you shared with us your passion, and you've talked about what you hope to gain from sharing that passion in our community. But tell us as we close about this award for you and what it means. If you had to just sum it up in one word, what would you say about seeing that award sit on your countertop every day?
And I literally look at it every day. The award says to me, keep going, keep going. It doesn't matter how you feel that day. It doesn't matter what you have going on. You cannot stop because it matters. And it reminds me of knowing that one of the young ladies that was there last year had her procedure in the interim of last year and this event on this year. And she showed up and she was well and healthy. And to see someone show up, it's reminiscent of the person that came back and said thank you. And that matters to me, to not just know that somebody actually took on, hearing what we said and did something about it, but that they came back and they were a part of the ceremony and part of the event. That means a lot to me, because if I believe if heaven rejoices over one, then I have to rejoice over whoever comes back and acknowledge that this worked, because my hope is that me reaching that one person, and we all played a part in that person's life, making sure that they were good, making sure that we checked on them. This award, when I look at it, it reminds me to get up. I can't take this day off. I can't take this month off. I have to figure out, give me something, help me to reach out to someone, because I need to continue to share this wealth of information. I'm still here because of it. I'm alive because of this. I can't drop the baton. I can't stop doing this. If they said it was just when they brought up my birthday, okay. Prayerfully, I'll see another one. But while I'm here, I still have to stay on this road, because this is one of the reasons why I'm still here. So that is important to me. This award says to me that she left something for me to continue to do. And even though I can't see her physically, I get to look at a piece of her that reminds me to persevere, that reminds me to keep going, that reminds me that the mission must not stop. And as long as I have breath in my body, I honor her by continuing.
I love that. I'm so grateful for your platform on the Fibroid Fighters, that you're going to continue to keep going. I think that's such a great mantra for us to hang our hats on tonight. And if you're watching us and you are interested again in what we do, our advocacy, the information that we share, if you just want to be a part of it, or if you say, you know what, I just want to know more information, please visit our website at the usafibroidcenters.com, or you can look on all of our platforms. Our Instagram platform is full of information about what it is that we do. Our Fibroid Fighters platform is full of information, and that is actually where you can find our coach, Eugenia. You can see all of her work and all the things that she's done right there on the Fibroid Fighters platform, which is our nonprofit platform.